The Committee on Foreign Affairs will come to order. The purpose of this hearing is to examine the administration's disastrous emergency evacuation from Afghanistan. I now recognize myself for an opening statement. In the spring of 2021, against the advice of his top generals in the intelligence community, President Biden announced he would unconditionally withdraw all American troops from Afghanistan, a decision that I opposed. I and many on this committee received multiple briefings from the State Department, the Department of Defense, the intelligence community, and the difference in their assessments was stark. Both DOD's and the IC's outlook were very grim in their assessment, while the State Department, mimicking the White House, consistently painted a rosy picture, ignoring the realities on the ground. The president promised, quote, "There's going to be no circumstances where you see people being lifted off the roof of an embassy like in Vietnam." Yet they were. Multiple people in the Biden administration said they had planned for every contingency. They did not. Instead, they spent the next 4 months ignoring the realities. As a result, when the Taliban rapidly captured territory during the summer of 2021 and entered Kabul on August 15th, we simply weren't ready. Because of the Biden administration's dereliction of duty, the world watched heartbreaking scenes unfold in and around the Kabul airport for the next 2 weeks. A sea of humanity desperately trying to make it through airport gates that represented freedom. We all saw the images of desperate Afghans clinging to planes as they took off, with some plummeting from the sky to their deaths. Mothers handing their children to strangers over the airport walls, willingly giving them up in the hopes of saving their lives. And then horror struck on August 26th. A suicide bomber at Abbey Gate killed 13 American service members, injuring at least 45 more and killing approximately 170 Afghans. That day was the deadliest day for American troops in Afghanistan in 10 years. We are joined here today by Marine Sergeant Tyler Vargas Andrews and former Army Specialist Aiden Gunderson. Both were deployed to Afghanistan during the evacuation. They can give a firsthand account of what it was like inside Kabul airport during those harrowing 2 weeks. Sergeant Vargas Andrews, a sniper at Abbey Gate, was gravely injured in the terrorist attack that occurred. He has undergone 44 surgeries and has lost both his leg and his arm, as well as his kidney. Thank you, sir, for the courage to be here today. Former Specialist Gunderson, a medic with the 82nd Airborne, was one of the first people on the scene helping anyone that he could. Gentlemen, this nation owes you a debt of gratitude, not just for your service to our country, but also for the work both of you did to help numerous people to safety during the evacuation, saving so many lives. You should be proud of all that you've done. And I would like to thank you for your service. I'd also like to ask the many Afghanistan veterans here today to please stand and be recognized. On behalf of a grateful nation, we thank you. In the midst of the unfolding chaos in Kabul in August of 2021, The United States State Department was all but useless. Like myself, many of my colleagues, including people on both sides of the aisle in this room today, were forced to become mini State Departments. We worked any avenue we could to rescue Americans, green card holders, and our Afghan allies that we promised we would protect. No one left behind was a credo. We violated that promise. Thankfully, though, in the void left by an absent State Department, many Americans stepped up to fill the vacuum, primarily organized by veterans, groups like Allied Airlift 21, Team America, and Task Force Pineapple, just to name a few that saved thousands of lives. And that is why I'm honored to have France Hong, Peter Lucier, and Scott Mann here with us today as well. All three of these men worked tirelessly to rescue many people as many as they could during this evacuation. It was often referred to like Schindler's List. If you're on the list, you made it out alive. If you weren't, you didn't. What happened in Afghanistan was a systemic breakdown of the federal government at every level and a stunning failure of leadership by the Biden administration. Because even though President Biden said, and I quote, "If there's American citizens left, we're going to stay to get them all out," end of quote, we now know that he left more than 1,000 American citizens in Afghanistan. In addition to the almost 200,000 Afghan partners and allies that we promised we would save. We promised them we would help them, only to abandon them to the Taliban, not to mention the women who were left behind to the mercy of the Taliban under Sharia law. This was an abdication of the most basic duties of the United States government, to protect Americans and leave no one behind. I want every Gold and Blue Star family member and every veteran out there watching this today to know that I will not rest, and this committee will not rest, until we determine how this happened and hold those responsible for it accountable. And before I close, I would like to honor the 13 service members who died at Abbey Gate, that tragic day. Staff Sergeant Darren Hoover, Sergeant Yohani Rosario, Sergeant Nicole Gee, Corporal Hunter Lopez, Corporal Dagan W. Page, Corporal Humberto Sanchez, Lance Corporal David Espinoza, Lance Corporal Jared Schmitz, Lance Corporal Riley McCaul's, Lance Corporal Dylan Marola, Lance Corporal Kareem Nikoy, Petty Officer 3rd Class Maxton Soviak, and Staff Sergeant Ryan Noss. Can we please have a moment of silence to honor the memory of these fallen heroes and all of the fallen heroes in the Afghan conflict? May God bless them, and God bless their family, and God bless the United States of America. And with that, I turn to our ranking member for his opening statement.